Hi everyone and welcome to another video, another free practice impression of the Brazilian Grand Prix. I'm Beatrice from Interlagos and today we're going to discuss free practices and the news that was striking this weekend. So let's begin by saying that the end is near for multiple factors. So the first one is with Renault, which basically ran out of spare parts concerning the MGU-H, and this is going to be a huge problem for Toro Rosso, as they are continuously breaking down with those engines. So if they basically break another one, they're going to have to sit out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, as Automotor und Sport says, and it's not going to be fun at all, because Renault cannot do much about it towards the end of the season. But all they can do is work hard for next season, as there are so many big expectations, and they are set to give McLaren a nice rebirth. They are not going to give them a nightmare, so definitely they have to sort these reliability problems out. And other than that, the end is near for Felipe Massa, who is going to retire at the end of this season. This time is going to be official. There is no room for recanting retirement once again. So hopefully he will have a good one in Brazil, his last home race, and then the finale in Abu Dhabi will be great as well, hopefully, for Williams and for him as well. So, going back to Brazil, these two free practices were a bit dull, as always, towards the end of the season, but we cannot do anything about it, as Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas were dashing. Once again, they were very competitive, so the first row is definitely going to be theirs. And there is going to be a close fight for the second and third row between, obviously, Red Bull and Ferrari. At this stage, I really cannot say who is going to prevail, as they were both competitive. Ferrari is going to, obviously, be counting on the race, as always, as they did and as they showed during the long run simulations. But anyway, it's going to be tight and it's going to be interesting. And as always, there is a huge gap between the three top teams and the midfield. But the fourth spot is going to be occupied by a very competitive and deserving team, which is Force India. They were awesome also on the speed trap. So once again, the Mercedes power unit is going to be striking and the most flawless one. And they also ran with George Russell, which is a young driver, young British driver, which is going to be very promising, and many people claim that he's going to be the next Ocon, so we will see. But it's true that he's going to be on the Mercedes orbit, so it's interesting to see how it will develop. However, he did a good job during the FP1 and during FP2 with the Haas. Antonio Giovinazzi took the wheel. He was supposed to make FP1, but since the weather conditions were going to be better during the first session, the team decided to swap sessions, so he ran during FP2, and he's constantly bonded with these weather conditions. Every time he has to do a free practice outing, he's going to have rain around him, so it's a pretty curious fact. And also Charles Leclerc was very promising once again with the Sauber, so he secured this outing, which is going to be the last one for this season. He secured 4 outings in FP1 with Sauber during the second part of the season, so this was the closing one, and hopefully they will make an official statement, an official decision concerning 2018 for Sauber. And obviously Leclerc is going to be the favourite alongside Marcus Ericsson. Perhaps it's not official yet, so there are many rumours from Switzerland, which is obviously the home country of Sauber, so we will see. And going back to the to FP2, Williams and Renault are going to be in the midfield fight for Q3, while McLaren Honda is going to be a bit detached, which is kind of understandable due to the features of the track of Interlagos and the features of the MCL32, which are obviously a bit incompatible, but it's understandable. However, I still hope they will collect a bunch of points, which are much needed, and Fernando Alonso will have to struggle once again, but there are no penalties, so hopefully they will battle it out. And Fernando is going to be once again at the top of the headlines, at the top of the media discussions, because he's in talks with Toyota to do the whole season of the WEC for 2018, so which means that he's obviously going to race at Le Mans after the Daytona 24 hours, which is going to be a very bold target, but it's definitely a thing that was called for since many years now, and it's just massive news. However, we're still wondering whether he will manage to do both seasons. He wants to be the most complete driver, he's a racer, he's a fighter, but definitely doing 2 seasons in parallel is going to be massively tiring and challenging. So I do not think it's going to be possible, but definitely doing 2 or 3 legs from the WEC calendar while doing Formula 1 at the same time is definitely possible. And I would be very happy to see that. I'm really looking forward to it, and he's going to have tests very soon in Bahrain, and in January it's going to be pretty busy for him, so definitely winter preparation for Formula 1 as well as a new challenge with WEC, and this amazes me every day a little bit more, so it's going to be awesome next year since the very beginning, since the first month, which is usually supposed to be a resting term, but for Fernando Alonso and racing fans it's not going to be like that. And obviously concerning the race pace simulations, Mercedes is going to be ahead once more, but they have a fight going on, which is for the 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship. So Valtteri Bottas will have to do everything he can to claim the 2nd place against Sebastian Vettel, but once again Ferrari is going to fight back, and so we're going to see a nice fight, and hopefully Mercedes will let the drivers race, because there was a source claiming that they were going to use team orders in order to protect Valtteri Bottas and let him fight for the 2nd place. However, I want to see free battles on track, as well as with Force India, which is going to obviously clamp down on team orders now that both drivers are behaving, and definitely free racing is always the best choice, even though sometimes for strategy, problems and concerns is the best thing to do, at least the best thing for business to do. And tomorrow we're going to have the race, and later on we're going to have qualifying, so I'm going to predict Lewis Hamilton to do pole position, and the 2nd row is going to be claimed by Ferrari, I think, since they have displayed quite well on the long run simulation. However, it's going to be very tight once again, and we are all for a nice fight for the podium. We do not want large gaps, even though we're at the end of the season, so no more news, no more updates, but again, we just want free racing, and this is what the end of the season is going to be like for. So definitely I want to know what you think about the upcoming qualifying session as well as FP3, and I'll see you soon guys with the prediction video, Beatrice's sector. And do not forget to submit your questions in English or in Spanish if you want under the hashtag AskBeatriceMotorlad on Twitter. See you soon guys, bye!